Okay, we'll call the Public Works meeting to order. It shows that John has been excused. Everyone else is here. And the first thing that we will discuss is professional service contract proposals, Grandview Road reconstruction project.
I'll take that. What we're looking at here is our engineering pool, which consists of MSA, McMahon, and now Cedar Corporation. I reached out to them to get simple, what we call simple proposals for the design of the reconstructed Grandview Road. I almost said for the reconstructed Grandview Road. Anyways, I laid out a basic set of parameters and expectations, as you'll note on that one sheet of paper. And we just got all three returns, all three proposals back today, and I thought we could go over them. One of the items we're going to look at is to make sure that their scope meets our needs. I think we can compare the proposal against that piece of paper I handed out with the expectations. I'm pretty sure they all do. This is not their first rodeo for these people designing a road. It's basically a simple road, there's no utilities, so I'm confident all the proposals are adequate. I think what we need to do is compare the lump sum fee they're expecting for this project, as well as their, one thing I asked them if they could provide was an estimated project cost for redoing the road. I got verbals from two, but they weren't comfortable writing it down because you never know until you actually get the bid what a project like that's going to cost. But both MSA and McMahon were right around $5 to $550, maybe even $6 with the engineering. So Cedar Corp estimated $648 without, I don't see engineering added to that. If you go back to the Cedar Corp one, go to the back page.
Is the engineering that?
So the engineering would be on top of that, what their estimate is. So
is that at the page prior to?
yeah, their engineering proposal, total cost project estimate for their engineering is 66 to 82.5. Cedar did do a nice job of packaging out the project estimate, but I feel it might be just a shade high. There's no way to really know that. So, I'm looking at McMahon's proposal now, just make sure everything we asked for is in there.
So I noticed that it's minimal, but Cedar is throwing in there a grant coordination fee. I mean, I thought that, is that big of a deal? I mean, the other two did not.
Well,
Work with that grant that we received?
yeah, I think,
I mean, the others may have just put it in.
it's not specifically called out on it, but I'm thinking they're calling that construction administration.
Okay. Everybody knows that it's a.
They do know, yeah, that was, I think on that, again, that list you have of, what do I call it again? What are the copies? I laid that out that they would have to manage that grant. And they get MSA, they're the ones who help us acquire that grant. They should, yeah, they're aware of it. I'm just trying to see if they have on-site representation, construction observation, because that's a biggie. We might have to add that to the others, to be fair. They were informed that they'll need some on-site construction observation. Cedar Court does account for that. I'm just saying, making sure that McMahon and MSA does as well.
Oh, MSA does. And got
MSA.
site visits, make up to 5 periodic site visits, 4 hours per site visit.
Well, I think Cedar's 4 hours a day for a 30 to 45 day project, whereas McMahon's just 4 times.
And MSA says 5 times.
Well, that might be adequate, and if we're gonna do that, this is not like water and sewer, we gotta watch them place each stick in the ground. My goodies come out once in a while, make sure they have the right, correct amount of sub-base, that kind of stuff. So, to be fair to Cedar Corp, we should deduct that amount from their total, the full 8 to 15. So there's still probably 58,000, 58 to 74, yeah. Well, it could be higher. 58 to, well, 58 to 68.
I'm just trying to figure out why there's such a huge gap between.
And what is that listed under, Carl, under Cedar?
Under Cedar, it's called construction observation on the last page.
Yeah,
I had asked that the firms give me a price for having somebody out there, kind of like an inspector, like we do on water and sewer main projects, just to make sure they're putting the right kind of material down. Again, it's road
It's actually on page
construction.
2, Pete.
oh, okay. 'Cause I'm
Oh,
not-
page 2, I'm sorry.
Okay, so approximately 13 to 18.
Yeah. But they're still significantly,
Yeah. Definitely.
and even I did talk with McMahon and MSA about providing those services. My guess is they don't feel that's needed, so I guess we can give them a little credit up front for feeling that's not, those amount of hours aren't needed. I'm sure I'll be down there enough.
So what are you looking for tonight from us?
Well, I think we should make a recommendation to the full board of which one of these companies we want to go with. Like you said, McMahon and MSA, they're almost on par for each other. McMahon does a lot of utility work for us, but MSA, they did get the grant for us, and they are in our engineering pool, and I don't see, looking at this, I don't see how we couldn't give it to MSA.
Yeah.
Actually, seeing they're a little bit lower than McMahon.
Yeah. That would give us some money, another $1,000 or so if we needed to have them come out twice a week or whatever. We're certainly within project scope. And they did get us a grant, and they did do a lot of legwork on getting us that grant by reaching out to Senator Steinke and a few others.
So they probably know this project better than anybody, and we
Yeah.
paid for that service for the grant,
You know,
so we're getting, that's,
they're very knowledgeable what needs to go on out there. So again, they feel it's 550 to 6, but they weren't comfortable putting that on paper. And frankly, I don't blame them, because if you're going to get pegged to stick with a number, you're always going to err on the high side. So again, we're hoping to get this job designed over the winter and bid out before spring. That way we can get the best price feasible. So that we can give the contractors a good 6 to 9 months to get ready to do the job. So. Well, maybe we should have done that at 6.
well, we have another whole thing to discuss, but,
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but
It seems to make sense if they were doing so much of the groundwork for the grant and knowledge.
to me, it helps justify us paying for that grant service too, that obviously we'd be hiring a service that already is so familiar with the project.
Yeah. Now, Al Gertz, who helped with the grant, he won't be working directly on this, a team from MSA will, but they're all pretty knowledgeable, they're all extremely knowledgeable, so I don't think there's any concerns from this end if we do go with MSA. And as you can see, I don't know, Pat, Al, did you show that cover page from MSA to Pat? That kind of explains the process and how we got the grant, and it also shows the letter from Jim Steinke, which I'm sure if he didn't step in, that I highly doubt we would have got the grant.
So do we need to make a motion or anything in here?
You need a motion to recommend it.
Motion to recommend, yeah.
Then I will make a motion to recommend MSA for the Grandview Road reconstruction, for the professional services for the Grandview Road reconstruction project. That we recommended that to the board.
Second.
So all ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Everyone's in favor?
Aye.
Did we say on tape that Dawn's absent?
Yeah.
Yep. Dawn is absent from this, and Julie made the motion to recommend to the full board. Al second. All said aye.
Okay, and then the next thing, moving on, would be the compost site concerns.
I had mentioned that at the last meeting, that we have an awful lot of illegal dumping and a lot of excess expense in getting that brush hauled off. We did finally manage to get the contractor to come in and take the brush away, but I'm scared of the bill when it finally comes. What we're looking at is, I think Diane had gave kind of a notice back during budget season that we were reducing money towards landfill compost, and that we would probably stop accepting brush. I still think we should accept some from village residents, but we need to control who brings us in. Like I said, over half of it's coming from Ellington and Dale and Hortonia, and the people get quite upset when you tell them they can't dump there because they have a Hortonville address. They can't get it, or they refuse or to acknowledge that they don't pay taxes here in Hortonville. So what we're looking at doing is, we had some money stuck aside this year to rebuild a drop-off site for the yard waste. Well, which guys built that? I think, Al, you've seen it. It looks really nice. It's concrete pad now. It's a beautiful structure, but we had some money left over, so I authorized one of my guys to construct a pair of swinging gates. What we're going to do is close that site at 3:30 every day, and if enough ruckus is made, maybe we'll open it up on Saturdays, but we're only going to open it up during the day. Dale, I know Dale had a compost site, and it got to be so much illegal dumping that they closed theirs, and now everybody's bringing it to Hortonville. And they don't really care that they don't pay taxes here. So my solution is close it at 3:30 and put up no trespassing signs on the gates.
Are there
And
cameras out there?
we have cameras, and we're also, they're not that nice. We can't read license plates with them.
I guess what I'm getting at is if somebody just came and they just dumped their trailer in front of those swinging doors, which I would
We're
will happen.
We're looking at upgrading one of the cameras and possibly putting in some other type of camera to read license plates. And if there's something dumped, we'll have to pull the cards. So.
I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit. I looked at other municipalities, there's like stickers for windows. Well, you don't have the manpower to look at stickers for windows. I've seen where even there's like you have to take a certain number off of your water bill, or you take a certain number off of your tax bill, that you put that into a log, so they've got a log of who was all there.
The one thing we can do, again, if push comes to shove and there's enough backlash, we can go around on Mondays and pick up for the elderly, that kind of stuff, no problem there. Or we could open for a few hours on a Saturday. of which, like I said, even the cops get yelled at by these people. And I'm worried that if I have one of my part-timers like Dave down there, that there may be confrontations and stuff, so I'm looking at.
Can we communicate in a very kind and nice way to Dale, Ellington, some of our neighboring communities that we've got a little bit of a problem, and if they've got a newsletter, I'm thinking of like Dale, I think has a newsletter, Ellington has a newsletter, but they just put a little thing in there saying the village is for village dumping only, and that, don't even put our hours in there, don't put anything, just that we've had a lot of dumping, unauthorized dumping.
Yeah, I can reach out to them, I can't guarantee that's going to solve anything.
I just think that way, I don't know, maybe you guys have a different
It's
opinion.
still
I was
lucky.
thinking the same, I think that's a really good idea, especially if Dale had to close theirs due to the
Just
same problem.
Put something in their little newsletter that just says, you know, if you're not a resident of the village, or if you're not a resident of a particular municipality, you can't dump in their, you know,
Well, like I said, when the police approach these people, they get agitated and say they have a Hortonville address, they have the right to dump there, and it just, yeah, it's an ugly situation. So
You know-
I think in the interim, we're gonna lock it at 3:30.
I did reach out to some other communities. A lot of them said they had the same problem.
Yeah,
Some of them said they were looking into putting into their budget a camera that could be read in the office. Similar, I suppose, to what we have out here in the parking lot, that the police can see who's out here and whatever. I mean, do you think we're at this stage?
Well,
that
then you need
We need to
somebody-
have a decent
Command.
camera out there?
the cameras we got with the wastewater plant can't read license plate, I don't
Right.
really wanna announce it on that.
no.
They can see somebody dumping. The problem is you have to be watching the camera unless you DVR it, and then you still have to, even if you open up just during the day, we still have to spot check people. But there's a lot of people during the day that come from Ellington and Hortonia. I've got people coming in there, they put rags over their license plate. These are rich people and have nice homes. They literally put rags over their license plates. They come from their $400,000 homes and they illegally dump down there, and then they give you a hard time because they have an important address.
Do we have signs up?
Yes, we
Yeah,
have all
that seems
kinds of
like the
signs.
obvious,
The
but
signs, they don't care about signs.
I don't care about stuff.
Do we let contractors dump?
The only ones we let dump are local handymen who do work in town. Every once in a while we'll let Bob and Jerry, or Bob dump, because he does a lot of work in town, but we limit them to like one load a week or something like that. We don't spot check them, but if they do enough work in town, we'll let them dump, because we have to offer something for our residents. But we don't let outside companies do that, only Hortonville-based companies. It's either Bob or the guy that lives next to the dam. He does a lot of work for people in town. So we let both of them.
We don't do like a twice a year, like pickup of.
We pick up in the spring and fall. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Because like we just, whenever we cut something, Ryan loads it up and just takes it and, but I'm just wondering too if.
It's not the yard waste, the grass clipping and
brush.
leaves, it's the brush. It's a brush coming in from out of town. I think yard waste, I don't care if they sneak around the gate and dump yard waste, more power to them. Because we are going to maintain our compost site, and we do utilize that yard waste for treating that. It's just brush, we got to get a handle on this brush.
Yeah, and that's such volume.
Yeah, it's a large volume.
Have you talked to the guys? Do they suggest anything?
Yeah, putting up the gate and shutting it off at 3:30.
Okay.
They've been in confrontations as well. And the arrogance on the part of these illegal dumpers. I don't know how many tickets have been written and how many warnings. It's just we can't afford to staff police down there 24/7.
Right.
And we also
Or
can't
even one of your
afford.
men.
I had gotten a quote for grinding up. I wanted some grindings because people asked for it. And it was close to $7,000 by the time they mobilized to grind up that last brush pile.
Is that the cheapest person we could find?
That was the only person we could find.
What if we bought our own chipper?
I'm not looking for chippers, because the way this material comes in, it's not cut to be chipped. I don't want people getting sucked into the machine. When we cut trees down and we chip it, we cut them down in long lengths and we feed them in. I don't want my guys sticking 3 or 4 foot pieces of wood into the chipper. It's just, I won't do that.
What is the fine for illegal dumping? What is our ordinance? I mean, I wonder if we need to look at that.
I don't know, it's over 100.
You know what I mean? And maybe look at that ordinance, and maybe we need to do something a little heftier with that fine, and how long ago was that looked
Well,
at?
for every one you find, there's 10 sneaking in.
I get that, but I mean, that would help deter. If somebody says, well, yeah, fine, $100. Well, if the fine's higher, because it's illegal dumping. No different than if I drove to Shacton and dumped tires in a field. That's illegal dumping.
Well, like I said, I think we'll try closing it at 3:30 and just play that by ear.
Are there certain times of day or night that it's most commonly abused?
Mostly on the weekends and in the evenings when they think we're gone.
The only sad thing about this is for our residents.
Right.
This is for us.
Yeah.
At 7 to 3:30, people are working, just like our guys are working. Then it's locked.
Yeah.
We've got to have some kind of weekend hour. There has to be.
Well, see, like I said, I can have Dave, he's my part-timer, and I'm sure he would like to work a few hours on Saturday morning, if that's what we want to
That
do.
could also be pretty overwhelming too, if that's one day a month. Can you imagine the people that are going to come in on it Saturday?
Well, if it's just Hortonville people, it won't be that bad.
It's just Hortonville people. How's he going to verify
He's
residency?
gonna check their license. They have to have a license.
But if they have a Hortonville address, but they live in Dale.
You know, some of the places I contacted had one later evening till 7 p.m. Then they have Saturday, 8 to 5, a lot of them. You know, I was just
Well,
trying to
yeah.
gather ideas to
They're
help
paying
us
for,
out.
even Greenville's having issues. Yeah. They're closing down too. They have man hours. Whatever the solution is, it requires money. And we're not getting this money from these regional municipalities.
So you're thinking of doing 7 to 12 or 8 to 12 on a Saturday?
Couple Saturdays a month, or are you thinking every Saturday?
We can even stagger it and do a couple.
First and third, or?
Probably every other Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Like
I mean-
7 to noon or something.
Then we're saving
Yeah.
not having an employee every single Saturday.
How much would it cost to have some kind of decal or something that people could show day or, I mean, I know it's not staffed all the time. I'm just trying to think if there'd be a way for village residents to.
Their property tax bill, their water bill, they could come and show their water bill. I mean, I would almost make it, everyone gets their water bill, because I know I hear about everyone's water bill. Everyone has a water bill that lives in the village, correct? Nobody's on the well, nobody's on a well, everyone.
Quite a few.
Okay, well then we maybe.
Depends on what side of town you're
Which
at.
side of town, but you gotta bring your water bill in order to do dumping. Bring your water bill stub.
Some kind of verification.
Because if anyone, one of your guys approaches them, or Dave approaches them on a Saturday,
Well, we only have so many
Sunday.
roads. I mean, if they live on, we can have, I think, do we charge $20, have them come get a sticker? I really don't want to go with the stickers, because then we have to
We have
print
multiple
stickers
vehicles.
out and
Yeah.
It was a suggestion of
their wells, yeah.
one place did say they had like a bright lime green, so you knew, your employees knew. I mean, if they're spotting,
A card they can hang on
you
their
do
mirror.
see it. There's a big green sticker in their window, you know? And I know they have to have it in Greenville, because my sister lives there. She has to go pay for it and
How
put
much?
it in her window. I thought it was only like $2 or something.
Okay.
It isn't
So it's
outrageous.
not- yeah.
That's not really what we
It's
want.
either, I think it's
You know what,
either 15 or
or you
20
just-
over there.
Pardon me?
It's 15 or 20 in Greenville.
Is it 15 or
Yeah.
20?
I forget what
I
it
wasn't
might be.
sure.
It might be 10. Don't get me wrong.
I wasn't
But it's
sure.
not, it's at least 10.
I know they have to have it though,
Yeah.
or they can't dump.
And like you said, we don't want to punish our residents.
No.
We want them to have it.
No, but we're punishing them right now by making them pay $6,000 to
Yeah.
haul away Ellington stuff.
I mean, could we have them
Yes, I agree.
bring their water bill stub temporarily? I mean, water bill stub, and if you have, like, I think, yeah, Wildwood's a good example of that. And then there's a map that's highlighted of which road, they show their license, and okay, you live on Crestview, you live on.
Yeah, no, I think we'd just rather have them show their license.
Yeah, I was going to say, on your
We
license.
only have so many roads, we can have Mill Street.
It's going to say 546 Crest Street or something like that, where if you're from out of town, it's going to be W2536.
It would be a W, yeah.
Because,
It'd be a
because
W or-
voting, that's an easy call on our part. If somebody
Yeah.
comes in and it's, you know, W or N or S, you know.
Yeah, it would be, yeah, that's a good point. That would be an easy one, just to be like, well, you have a fire number versus a street address,
Yeah.
something.
So I'd still like to close at 3:30, but maybe have, see how 7 to noon on every other Saturday, or something like that.
If you can find the help to work those Saturdays.
I'm sure I could,
Well, Dave will probably do it.
yeah. One thing about Dave is, right now, he gets anywhere from, he's scheduled for, or he's budgeted for 20 hours a week. Last year it was 25, but I had to pull back now. There may come a time when he might reach the magical hour, he's got to get retirement. And we're only talking a pittance for a part-time employee with no benefit retirement. That's never bothered me if Dave got retirement, because it would only be, you know, in the 10s and 20s,
Right.
not hundreds of
What
thousands.
was the magic cutoff?
So if you're okay with Dave being offered an additional 5 hours a week on top of what he's doing now.
There was a magic number, I would check with Libby, there was a magic number.
Oh, it's 1,200 for new hires.
1,200.
12.
Yeah, there was the magic number, and you couldn't go over
Well, it
that.
used to be 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, even then,
It's hard to reach it.
because
it
once
is
you,
hard to reach it, and
It
even
is
if
hard to
Dave
reach
did reach it, he's still permanent part-time and had, you know, considering salary, I'm not gonna say he's low paid, but it wouldn't break the bank to spend a few hundred a year on retirement on the village's side.
I just remember-
It's not even, it's not a big deal.
yeah, I'm familiar with that from last
If you do,
year.
I guess if it was a Saturday, I think it would be good to not go every other, maybe first and third, or second and fourth, or something. That would, it just seems like it would be easier for
Yeah.
people to remember that.
Like the week of recycling, or the,
Of course, oh, yeah, you could do that too.
like, so that, because that's how I know week of recycling, or like first and third, like the board meetings, or,
So
Well,
would you
I
do this
actually-
year-round, 12 months out of the year?
No, we wouldn't do it.
Okay, so he's not gonna reach that, not real soon.
No.
There's no way.
But he also helps fill in when guys are on vacation,
So-
he mows and stuff.
so once they hit that retirement, then they can't.
If he would work 25 every single week for 52 weeks, he'd be at 1,300 hours. So,
Which is over 1,200, right?
yeah.
It's a rural law,
But it's
1,200.
rare that he would work it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that isn't going to even be an issue with him,
No, as long as it's in the budget.
you know, or anyone that would,
To be honest, now
Take the
that
job.
I haven't had a street department person for the last 3 weeks, that will probably pay for the rest of this summer and fall for Dave to work weekends, for Saturdays. So I like the idea of garbage recycle, or recycle week. Everybody remembers that, like you said.
You just, people put on their calendars, and in that way too, when you know, come out every year with the calendar for the garbage and recycle pickup, that maybe is something that you add in there,
Highlight.
you know,
We could-
if you decide this works.
Okay, now comes the other question. How do we notify our residents of this and we do not have a village voice anymore? The one that's sent out.
You know, well, we got Facebook, but that's not gonna reach, nothing
It's not
really
gonna
reaches
reach
everybody.
everyone.
We might bring back, I wouldn't say bring back Village Voice, but
Well, I've heard a lot of people
Yep.
that want that back.
yeah.
I think I'd like to bring
Yes.
it back at least twice a year.
We had asked that
Yes.
that be an agenda item in the future, because we're hearing that.
Well, this year was real tight on the budget.
I understand.
We cut a lot,
I
but next
understand
year we're
that.
expecting to get some money back into the budget. So if it's all right with you, I'm sure Lisa wouldn't mind doing it, she loves doing that. Lisa wanted
We
to.
have a village voice, it's just a matter of the distribution of it was the budget.
And
Yeah.
some people may opt to get it electronically. At the nature center, we give people the choice if they want it mailed or electronically, so.
We had talked maybe a combination, not print out 1,000 village voices, but, keep them here for the seniors and handing out at front, or if you want to be mailed it, just get on a list. There's certain ways, a lot of the younger people don't read that stuff, or anything like that.
But whenever I share something on Facebook, people comment, and they share it. So I think,
there still needs to be
that's a
social
good thing
media part of it.
also to do the Facebook.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I think we'll
Not-
still do that.
We do
It's
our
pretty useful.
website, our Village of Hortonville website, we do our Facebook, and we do our Village Voice.
Yep.
I think we can do a combination. I think we found that it's best to use all the tools you have.
Yep.
Combination Village Voice, website, Facebook.
But how do we get it out right now?
Well, we're not gonna close it off tomorrow, but we did buy the materials for building the gates and everything, so we should get it out there that what's going on. Aside from the meeting minutes here, I don't think too many people watch these.
Does the city of New London have a problem? Could we get maybe John or Scott to maybe do a little blurb in the press?
I could probably get John to do a story.
Because, I would imagine New London probably has the same.
Well, they all
Contact New
do.
London?
Eventually,
Would it not be worth
the,
it? The buyer's guide is free, to put it, just put a blurb in the buyer's guide.
yeah.
These are the hours of the drop-off site in the Village of Hortonville.
Even if it costs something really small,
Yeah.
just to have a
I was
box.
gonna say, you don't want to,
Doesn't
like
need,
this, because people aren't going to see it, it's going to have to be a little bit bigger.
yeah, do a box.
Yeah.
I bet John
Like
does.
you said, we can spend a little bit of
He
money
watches these videos.
on this because we have to get this out to our residents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to let them know that
Notices up.
Yeah.
it's going
The
to be.
library and library would do that.
Have Lisa post a sign on the front window when people come in to pay their water bills. I mean, we can get it out there as much as we can right now,
Yeah.
and then once the Village Voice starts to come out again,
See, whatever we do regarding brush, like I said, yard waste, we have no problem with yard waste. We can take about as much as you can offer for that. It's the brush. Greenville had approached the village a couple of years ago about getting a regional yard waste, or tree and brush drop-off site, which is probably still in the works.
Okay.
It's gonna take some time to get going. But there may come a time where we only accept grass and leaves down at the plant and garden waste. But if you have trees, anybody, or limbs and stuff like that, it doesn't matter if you're in Ellingtondale or whatever, you'll be able to go over to the site in Greenville. That was the original intent. They're still looking at purchasing land, I hear, or something like that.
Who's they, Greenville?
Yeah, yeah. And again, you would have to buy a sticker to do it, and it would probably be slightly higher for residents outside Greenville, which is all right.
Sure.
Certainly expect that. But I think in the interim, we've got to get a handle on the brush.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this should help.
so I think with all the ideas Jeannie had, like I said, it's going to be a while before the gates are up anyways, but we need to start educating people. So,
Yeah, because it's gonna be a shock at first, because everyone's used to just going down there day or night, So we gotta get it out.
Yeah, set a date and then give enough time, warning, signs down there.
I know in our Village Voice, when we used to send it out, it always had a calendar in there that
Yeah.
showed recycle week. And it would be nice to have another square or X on that Saturday
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
That's what I
like
was
Julie
talking
said.
about. Yep.
Yeah.
Yardway site open.
We stick it on the inside of our kitchen cabinet, and so, and if there's ever a holiday, then we always look.
So what I can do is when Lisa gets back
Your neighbors.
from vacation, we could pull that calendar up and then, maybe April through October, whatever. We have to put a little warming shack out there for whoever's working.
And even so, what can be done immediately is, I think Jane does the website, even now, just if you pick a date, even get it out on the website right away.
I
People
think-
do pull up a calendar on the website if they don't save their.
Even before the gate goes up and the chain goes across or
Yeah.
whatever, I think we'll just say the yard waste site is only open on Saturday, 7 to noon. And there might be, there's no gate, and you get down there at 12:01 and drive right in, but I think we need to get them educated, and then the controlling devices will slowly start going into place. But I think Jeannie's correct. You gotta educate.
Are you still going to contact though the surrounding, like Pat said? Go to the surrounding areas and
Yeah.
get a hold of them to put something into their
I'll
residents
ask
also?
them. Did you?
I wouldn't tell them, I would not tell them the hours, I would not tell them anything. I would just say, you know, we're having a problem and we're trying to get a handle on it.
Wait. Yeah.
Are you looking for someone to type something up that's eloquent?
Julie's volunteering.
I can volunteer for that. I'm just trying to, you definitely don't want to say to them, our hours are going to be this,
No,
and this is our
that's
rules.
right.
No,
It's
no.
going to be something we've had a big problem, and
We're experiencing. a lot of issues.
we're asking for your help. Can you please notify the residents that the village dump site is just for village residents, regardless of your address? If you want me to type up something eloquent. I
Why don't
can.
you reach out to me tomorrow? We'll
Okay.
get that done, we'll contact them, and next week when Jane is back from the Institute, she's at Clark's Institute, and Lisa's back, we are going on the public information outreach.
Nathan will be back too.
Yep.
Nathan will be
Yeah,
back.
I'll reach out tomorrow.
So, yeah, I think, well, it's a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, we have to do something.
Well,
So
Dale
we-
should certainly understand if they,
Yeah.
you know, if they have
Yeah.
an issue.
But you figure Dale, that covers part of Fallen Wing, that covers, you know, that, I mean, think how far Dale goes out, that goes up pretty far.
Well, I wish Dawn was here, because she followed somebody in from Dale, bringing brush, and they yelled at her too, so, when she confronted them at the site. And again, this is in the evening, on a weekend, they sneak down here, so,
You know, when we had the tornado, just as an example,
yeah.
when we had the tornado, and we had to, I was told to go stand on there, had my little yellow safety vest on, and
Yeah.
told to tell people to turn around because we wanted them to just put their brush out in front of their house because we were going to arrange something because of it being an emergency. Please don't drop down here, and
We had to barricade off the road.
People are nasty.
I had to definitely stand in front of those barricades because they were very upset.
Yeah.
And they did just want to go around me and dump. So, you know, whoever's down there is going to have their hands full.
Yeah. They'll probably need a camera
Get up there.
and,
And a cell phone,
Yeah.
911.
Yeah, okay.
And could we ask that the police department just do regular circuits through there, at least to start with?
Just to start.
Yeah,
they are right now,
but I mean, at the Sunday, or the Saturday mornings, that-
yeah,
When people
I
start
think
getting
that'd be only fair
yeah.
about stuff.
to Dave or whoever's down there.
Or even have Dave have.
It'd probably be, I think more, I don't think anybody's getting up at 7 on Saturday. We'll probably make it like 8 or 9 and then,
Even if Dave could have the number of the squad for who's ever on duty that day. Like the cell number. That way, so it's not necessarily a 911 call, but it's maybe being able to contact the PD, contact that officer on duty directly.
yeah,
Or maybe-
even I don't know who's on duty and their
No.
phone number.
Right.
I don't know how Dave's gonna do that.
It's all different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a schedule.
yeah. Talk about it. He can have the, well, Allegheny County Dispatch has the same phone number,
Yeah.
so.
All right, does
Does we have to make a
anyone,
motion for this, or?
No, I don't think so. Just, it's strictly advisory. Well, not, it ain't advisory, it's recommended, but I don't know. You want to make a motion, Al? I think you probably should, or,
We can. I will.
but we don't have it on the regular board agenda, so
no,
your motion really
it's,
doesn't.
advisory? Nothing, it's
It's
just,
it's a committee
normally we
level.
advise the full board.
Public Works Committee made a recommendation to me to follow through these steps, and if there's issues later arise out of it, then we'll have to go back to the full village board
Okay.
and give them the background
Right.
of
Yep.
what's going
I
on.
think there's enough of us here that understand the situation.
Is this just going to be gates, or is it going to be fenced a little further? Because there are some going to come and just throw out their brush over the wall and your grass.
Well, that's why we'll probably put up cameras. If they do that, then they'll be issued a citation, I hope. I'm wanting to think it's like $189, give or take, for illegal dumping. It might be higher. You know, maybe we revisit the ordinance for illegal dumping down there.
What I was thinking is that put a higher fine on it, because it is a big, it does have a cost to everybody in this village. And if it's a higher fine, who wants to take the risk? I mean, if you're willing to take the risk, but it's $100 versus $300,
We have to make sure that it doesn't get thrown out either.
no.
I got
So we would
plenty.
have to, like you said, look up the ordinance and then bring it to the board.
Yeah.
You think that's what we should do?
I mean, you can make a recommendation for me to bring the ordinance to the board and we can discuss if it's severe.
Julie, why don't you do that?
Okay.
The recommendation.
Recommendation, so you don't want me to put anything in that recommendation about the hours and all that stuff? We're just doing a recommendation that we revisit the ordinance for illegal dumping? Okay.
And the cost.
All right, I make a motion that Public Works, or we look into the illegal dumping ordinance and the cost, and visit this at a later date.
So, first meeting in August, I'll add that to the agenda.
I'll second that. So,
Julie made the motion and Pat seconded it.
I think it's within Public Works.
And all in favor?
I
I got it right here.
I mean, as far as your recommendations for how we're operating the compost site as it's
Yeah, I mean,
and all that stuff, I think that's within your scope. It doesn't need to go to the board for a vote.
No, I don't think
But if
so.
we look at an ordinance change, then we would definitely,
Especially if we're changing the dollar amounts
Yep.
on the fines. You know, have you discussed it with Pat, or not Pat? Hi, Pat. With Chris?
Yeah, this was her idea. She said they had the same problem in Shackton. They just started closing it, and they had limited hours, and people just had to deal with it. It just,
So for ordinance change, does that go through public safety and then the board, or how does that go? Just
I think it's chapter 8, I've
Just
actually got it
regular
right here.
okay.
so it's pretty good ordinance amendment. It's like August 2nd is the first Thursday in August. So I'll get that on the agenda for August 2nd for ordinance review.
Does anyone have any other
Is it-
comments?
Is it considered, it's not littering prohibited, right? I can say which one it is. No.
No, we actually have an ordinance specific for the drop-off site.
Okay.
I didn't bring it.
We have the ordinance book here.
I have,
Let me just look it up.
yeah, we have the ordinance book right
Probably in
here.
chapter 8.
It's chapter
Is it in
8,
chapter
I'm looking
eight?
at chapter 8, but I don't, oh, here. Penalties, it talks about penalties. Which then goes to chapter 9.
You think it's in chapter 8?
Well, chapter 8, but then it bounces to chapter 9, because it talks about penalties, 8.15 penalties. But I don't know if that's the right, anyway, someone will figure that out.
Carl, well, they're looking for that if there was a joint venture for brush, property purchase, would there be a chipper then also?
That would be a tub grinder. Tub grinders, they don't, nobody likes using a chipper unless they cut the wood to put in the chipper. I can
Okay.
guarantee you, it's dangerous otherwise.
Chippers, and the insurance on the chipper is probably pretty
It's
neat.
not pretty when people go through a chipper. There in Greenville, they would probably be looking at purchasing a tub grinder. They're anywhere from $350,000 to $500,000.
Oh, wow, okay. I was just curious because of,
That's why it costs so much to bring them up from West Bend and Forest Junction or wherever these people come from. It's a ton of money running those things, thousands of dollars an hour. So,
Just a corn chopper is about $450,000.
I've heard about farmers.
That's why
Trust me, I
That's
tell
why
you,
people
That's why-
rent them out or hire people, right?
we no longer farm.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay, so
do
do
a little bit of
we,
grief and a gate, it's better than 350.
Yeah, yeah.
so do I make a motion to adjourn?
Absolutely.
Someone want to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.